Hey, good evening. It's Patrick Strasball, and we are going to discuss a case that resolved in May 10th, 2017, so a little bit earlier this year, in which the medical transport company had to pay overtime, and the issue was with Michael Curtis versus Express Medical Transporters Incorporated, which is EMT. They've got ambulances and things down here too. So this was in Missouri. The issue was they did not want to pay overtime past the 40 hours, and they routinely worked 40 hours. And according to the FLSA Act in 1938 is when that was established, so it's not a new thing. Let's see, so the vans that they use for transporting wheelchair, this was a wheelchair driver, so he was driving the Paralift vans. These are E250s, 350 vans that Ford makes, and they were converted to having the wheelchair capacity. So normally they carry 12 to 15 passengers, and they have a gross vehicle weight rating of 10,000 pounds or less. So once they're converted, the issue then becomes how many passengers that they carry. So the Motor Carriers Act exemption is they don't have to pay overtime past 8 passengers. With the way it's set up with the wheelchair vans, the wheelchair and the passenger itself is one, so it's like 2. So they figured out the configuration for the vans for EMT. They wanted the exemption under the Motor Carriers Act, saying that they could take over the 8, and they found that they could not take over the 8 because of the way they were figured with the wheelchairs and everything, and the way they had to be tied down. So therefore they were not under the exemption of the Motor Carriers Act, and therefore they should have to pay the overtime, which he'd been working since 2012, so a good 4 years of working overtime that was going to have to be paid back to him. So it's, if you do it the right way, like your mom and your wife says, you do it the way you're supposed to, the right way the first time, and then you won't have to be paying all that back pay. So this is relevant to where we work because under the FLSA we are the Special 7, which is the in essence a 53-hour work week. So in a 28-day pay period, as we work 24 48-hour shifts, the 212-hour rule applies. So therefore we don't get paid overtime unless we work over 212 hours. And the way our schedule works with our contract, we are allowed to pick up one 24-hour shift in our 28-day cycle. So therefore, if we do that, it comes out to 216 hours, which then we only get paid 4 hours of that, even though we've worked a 24-hour shift extra. It still is only 4 hours of overtime because that's all that's over that 212, which is, we get to sleep, so it all evens out, really, in my opinion. So most of the time, we're a little suburban department. We don't get, toned out too much after midnight, so it's all good. But some people just kind of get a little wishy-washy on that and think that everything has to be based on the 40 hours, and we're kind of a unique field, and we don't do that. So and then it also has to be, the other thing that they get confused about is it has to be hours worked. So if you take 24 hours of vacation time in that 28-day cycle, and then you work a 24-hour shift, you still don't get that extra 24 hours or that extra 4 hours, because it matches out with the hours worked. You have to make up the 24 first. So that's how it relates to ours. And you try and get around the law, and sometimes it just doesn't work. Have a good night.